must be done every single day, Gurdjieff. And I'm talking about the work on your mind. These people don't think about it like this. People know you gotta clean your house every day. You just let it sit there, it's gonna get dusty, it's gonna get dirty. Hell, if you leave your car in the garage at your house, it's gonna get rusty. Things are gonna start falling apart. You need to drive the thing. Even when you drive the thing, it's gonna break down. Even if you leave your house for vacation, it's gonna get dirty. Mold might pop up. It just gets dirty, even no one touches it. And the same thing goes for your mind. Do you see what I'm saying? And even better, your body. Leave your body alone, and it just starts to break down, right? It's just like, and if you use your body, of course, you get injuries here and there, but you're better off using it than just leaving it alone. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I could bring up so many examples. I mean, this is just the law of the universe. Entropy. This is what I'm talking about, entropy. And entropy is basically, in simplest terms, from chaos to order and back to chaos. That's what human beings do. We try to get things into order. But these are all part of the universe and everything falls apart. Human beings die. Cars end up in the junkyard. Houses fall apart and then they have to tear them down. And this is just what life is. This is just, a cycle. It's not a bad thing. That's just what it is. You could say it's a good thing, right? That's how life operates. But nobody thinks about this with your mind. Because your mind is something you can't hold. You can't measure it. I mean, you really can't. I mean, it's really just a theory. In psychology, it's really called theory of mind. You could look into this more. No, science cannot prove someone else has a mind. I mean, I could prove, well, I know to myself I have a mind because it's working, but I can't prove you have a mind. But society works if I just trust, everybody else that they have a mind just like me. And it works pretty well. And so far, it's been working so far. But that's the tough part about a mind because the floor in your house, you could see it get dirty. You need to sweep it up. You could see your car getting rusty. You could see yourself getting weaker. You could see yourself gaining weight. So you're like, I have to do something about it. But your mind is a whole different thing. This is why I think this one's difficult. And how do you work on your mind? Because maybe you could sweep the floor in your house. You can vacuum. You could wash the carpets. You could organize things in your house. With your car, you could de-rust some things. You could change some parts out, change the fluids, right? You could detail the interior. And working out, obviously, go train, eat better, sleep more. But what about your mind? Because this is the foundation of all things. But you need your mind first to do any of those things I just named. And I go down the list. But like, people don't realize it, but it's a part of your daily schedule. And you might already do these habits without even thinking about it. I mean, like, actually, some of them I just named, like housework, chores, car repairs, and just taking care of your car and your body. I mean, all these things work on your mind. You could say that indirectly. But I'm talking about direct, deliberate work to your mind that we must be doing. Number one, I tell everybody, especially if they work with me, we need a morning routine. You can't just wake up in the morning and go to your job. I mean, with a morning routine, that space in the middle is something you actually own, which gives you more autonomy over your life, which gives you a more sense of power, right? Because you're not giving your time away to your boss. Because the majority of us work jobs, right? And we work an hourly wage. We legit pay a piece of our life to our work or our employers. But having that space in the morning for that routine that we build ourselves, that is key. This is how we work on our mind. And I can only tell you what I do. I mean, there's a book called Tim Ferriss, the author, I believe it's Tribe of Mentors, and he talks about like famous people that he interviewed on his podcast on their morning routines, and everyone does all very interesting things. I think I saw like Jeff Bezos. He wakes up in the morning, lays in bed actually, has a smoothie, reads. He just does some reading. Like he spends a half hour in bed. Like that one, I thought that one just stuck out to me because it's so strange. But everyone does different things because it does different things for their mind. I mean, I could tell you what I do, right? I go down the list. I read that book such a long time ago, but I really recommend it. It's a very good book. But me, I don't do this in any particular order. just whatever order helps me. But I wake up and I get a morning walk in. I've got a 10-minute walk by my house with a beautiful view, a lot of sunlight, fresh air, and I just walk down the road. And I get my sunlight in, some quick exercise, start my metabolism, change my mood. I actually went on that walk right before this to change my mood and be on the video. But yeah, I go for a morning walk, get a little bit of cardio basically, burn some calories. Then I meditate 15 minutes. If I need more, I'll do more. But 15 minutes, and I think this one's great because it's true rest before I do anything in the day. I get clarity. I organize my thoughts because you wake up in the morning and your mind is still working. Your mind is still working when you're unconscious. That's what dreams are. I always say this, your mind is always running. So when you wake up in the morning, you build some discipline, some time yourself, some breath work, because that's really what meditation is, breath work. I'm sitting there breathing, calming myself, just letting the thoughts pass by, organizing myself. And it just does wonders. I mean, it's night and day if I don't do this. And then after that, I journal. I just write a page out, sometimes more. But I just write a page out and I just spit out my thoughts. Whatever I'm thinking, boom, right there. Whatever is bothering me. And I know I'm not writing down my thoughts if I sit down on my journal and I just can't get it out. And that means I'm avoiding something. Because when you write things down, you're organizing your thoughts, like in a journal entry. And I could just attack the day better. I could deal with problems I have or anxieties or worries, or I could reflect on the day. I mean, that just does wonders on my mind. And indirectly, I actually get better at English. My spelling, my grammar, my sentence structure, my handwriting. Because I've looked at other journal entries, I'm like, my English language has improved so much. Because I was always, English was always my worst class growing up. English always sucked for me, right? But now I'm out of school and I don't have an hour a day to practice English. Kind of a bonus with school, right? A good thing about school right there. But I got this journal entry and I'm getting better at English. And I just dedicated time for English because I want to learn other languages and I want to do this with other languages. Because eventually, if I could write whole journal entries in another language, that's pretty advanced, right? Do you see what I'm saying? My morning routine, obviously it's for my mind, but it indirectly works on other things. Like my morning walk, I get in shape, start my metabolism, get some sunlight, just for my health. It's not just for, it starts with my mind, but just for my mood. Or the meditation. I actually got, the only reason why I got into meditation was really Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was really the nail in the coffin for me because in his autobiography, he said he took up transcendental meditation when his life got really stressful at the time. And he didn't believe in that woo-woo stuff, right? But he's like, okay, I'm desperate. I need to change. He did it for 30 days. And he's like, if this doesn't change my life in 30 days, I'm done with it. He did it for 30 days. His life was night and day. He never went back. And I did the same thing. I took his advice, and it was anecdotal experience, not just from Arnold, but from me, if that if that matters more. But that really changed my life. I'm like, oh, I'm never going back from this. But it makes sense. I'm cleaning out my mind. I'm not letting my house dirty up. Basically what I'm saying. I got a clean temple. No pun intended. This is what it is. This is what meditation is for your mind. And people don't work on their mind. Nobody talks about this because it does sound woo-woo. It's like, oh, that's always, oh, I'm going to sit down and do nothing. Or I'm going to write a page out for no reason. I'm going to do extra paperwork, right? Or I'm just going to wander around my neighborhood. It sounds stupid, but it pays dividends over time. And I can tell you when you run away from the morning routine, then you see how much you needed it when it's when it's not there. Because I'm telling you, because I've done that. I'm like, do I really need to do this? Should I just go straight to my work? Right? Am I wasting time? Is this just friction? Is this procrastination? Because there's that part too. But then when I get away from it, I see what I was missing. I'm like, okay, get back on it. Never getting away from this. But the morning routine is huge. But there's so many things that are good for your mind. Martial arts, working out. So many things are kind of indirect because a lot of people don't realize they are working on their mind. Some people might not, hey, I don't need Zen, I don't need all this bullshit, right? I don't need meditation. But in their lives, they actually do this. They don't even realize it because that's why I tell people write down a schedule, a journal, or a planner to actually see what you're doing in your life. Because then you realize going through, you're like, oh, I actually do these things. Oh, this is what keeps me up. And now you could be more deliberate because you know what you actually need in life, right? Because sometimes you kind of do the right things on accident, which is good. We usually do the wrong things on accident. But this is what Gurdjieff's talking about. The work must be done because every single day your mind is getting cluttered. I mean, like from what? I mean, I go from the news, your toxic, negative coworkers, right? People you meet on the street. I mean, God forbid, family problems. Everybody, propaganda in the news. I mean, social media. Everything is just muddling your mind. So you got to clean it out every single day. People think enlightenment. I'm not gonna say I know anything about it because I'm not enlightened. But what I do know is it's not a destination. It's not somewhere you go to. It's not somewhere you climb up and stay there. It's something you actually maintain. And this is what Zen talks about. I mean, you just have the present moment. Like, where do you have to go? You just got it right here. I'm doing my best to explain this, especially in the English language. This is hard explaining some of these ideas since you can't necessarily see them or measure them. But yeah, it's not a destination. It's not somewhere you have to be. You just do it. You just be in the present. There's no past and future. That's just all in our mind. And by doing that, it's through our daily practice, our habits. And they kind of suck while doing them, or you think you're wasting time. But it's just down the road, they compound, exponentially, in my opinion. And then the dividends are paid. And then it's just a part of your life. That's just what I do. Just like when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth. You wash your face, you go to the bathroom. It just becomes a part of that. And no matter where you are, you do the same thing. But nobody talks about this. We need to work on our minds. We need to take our minds back. Because just like you train your body, because a lot of trainers talk about training your body in bodybuilding or in fighting, right? We need to get these techniques down. We need to get our cardio up and our times and splits and PRs or whatever, whatever you're doing, whatever you're competing in. But nobody talks about training your mind. Your mind should be first because everything else actually comes easy after. I'll go from anything. I actually learned this in MMA and athletics. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. I played football, I was a wrestler, and I did track and field. But I learned this I worked hard, but the one thing I neglected was my mind. And when I got into MMA training, that's what I improved on. And I really believe, I was so good in MMA because of my mind. It wasn't because I had special attributes or anything. Like, yes, I'm a hard worker and I trained and I was diligent, but I really believe it was my mind. I worked on calming myself down. I worked on training techniques, understanding strategy, the game. And a lot of these things like the journaling, the meditation, it's just funny. It's like I used to do this for fighting. And now I do this for everything in my life. Like after each sparring session, I would write down a journal entry of what I did good to reinforce those good things, right? You should do that for everything in your business. Whatever you're trying to improve in, that's what you should be doing on. So it's just crazy. It's just like from one thing I learned all these other things. And I carry over my business, my life, my relationships. And it's just, I just decided to take the power back. Because everyone gives their mind to someone else. And you know what I mean by that. Like with propaganda or the news, like tell me how to think. Tell me what's going on in the world. Just give it to me. Or your boss or your employer, like, I don't know how to make money, just give it to me, right? Or your doctors and your health and stuff, like whatever, just tell me what pills I have to take, let me just take them. And I'm not saying don't trust society in any way possible, zero. Right now it's getting pretty hard to trust them even 1%, but I digress. What I'm trying to say is take the power back. Actually have autonomy over your life. And through meditation and all these practices, it gives you more space. And I'm not even saying think about it necessarily, but you could just act and do things. But we have to do the work every single day. Just like on our business, I could even go with relationships and family. You need to put work into that. If you don't talk to people for years on end, they're going to think you forgot about them, right? Again, if you don't drive your car, you just leave it in the garage, it's going to rust. Things are going to go wrong with it. If you leave your house the way it is, it's just going to get dirtier and more cluttered. So the work must be done every single day. This is what I'm trying to say. We have to work. We have to pay attention. We got to take our mind seriously. And take it from me. I mean, do this for 30 days. Have a morning, just add a meditation, a morning walk. Do one of these things I named. Like, this is what I do. Look at more successful people and their morning routines. See what they do, because whatever works for me, it might not work for you. You know, we're all different people. Because I can tell you, oh man, I forgot the name. I'm looking at the book right here. Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss. I believe that's what it is. He shows that all these people have drastic morning routines. They're all different people. We all live in different places. We all have different nuances and different life experiences. So, my medicine might not work for you. This is what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying try something. Try something for your mind. This is what I challenge you with. And if you're able to work with me one-on-one, we could talk about this more. We get the nitty-gritty of your schedule. We could figure out what works for you. Make your life more unique. And that's just the beginning, because I really believe the mind comes first. Okay? I'm a fit. I do a lot of things, but I would say I'm a fitness trainer if you would ask me, right? Because I help people get stronger and get in their best health they can, become the best versions of yourself. But it comes from your mind. So we need to work on your mind first and figure out what's going on up here before we change everything else. If you like what I had to say, go follow me on Instagram down below. And you could just DM me from there. Instead of just waiting to book a call, we could just talk right there. And maybe from there we go, face to face. And we talk about a little bit more. But if you're down to work with me, follow me on Instagram. Check out the rest of my content. And maybe book a call. But if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.